Hello, good morning once again, and welcome to our online training today. So, our topic for today is how to build an inclusive classroom. So, when we're talking about learning tools, what comes to your mind usually?
Very.
All right. So keep all those questions for later as we discuss how we can build an online inclusive classroom that you can also use for your offline classroom sometime in the future once face-to-face learning is also back, right? So let's begin. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So first, let me introduce myself.
Now you go.
So I'm Miss Jovelyn Flores. So I'm a senior high school from the Department of uh, Division of City Schools, Naga City. So I'm also a Microsoft innovative trainer and a Google level educator level. Okay, sorry, that was my son. Okay, so if you want to be for a while. Okay, sorry about that. So to continue, you can follow us at Green Mind. Okay, sorry about that. To continue, you may also reach us via this email, tabon_Julie@hotmail.com, or you may also subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube channel, Green Minds Philippines. All right, let's proceed. So let me ask you this first question. So who is in our classrooms? Of course, you may say, oh, it's our students. Or you may also say, uh, observing teachers or supervisors, maybe. But mostly it's our students that's our focus for our discussion today. So how many of you have struggled to build accessibility into your classrooms? How many of you simply run out of time to make the necessary changes when you are conducting your lesson? So for instance, if you posted something on your screen, if you're having an online lesson, some students will say, oh, teacher, I can't see. Teacher, it's downloading. Teacher, it's loading. Teacher, there's nothing on my screen. So how do you deal with that? What else? If you're having on face-to-face classes or offline classes before, some students you may notice are squinting behind the back or at the back of your class. Or some of them, when you are discussing, They're simply not looking at you, or they're looking somewhere else, maybe outside or their classmates or whatever it is that they're doing. Or some of them are simply fidgeting or don't know what to do. So how do you deal with those things? Okay. So when we're talking about inclusivity, okay, so as we all know, we have different kinds of abilities. Those are multi-intelligences. When we're talking about inclusivity, we're dealing about those with students that need help. Okay, so it can be visual. So some of them may be colorblind. You posted green and then they will tell you it's blue, something like that. Or they have low vision. It's like me. I need a glasses now so that I can uh, look whatever it is posted, especially if I'm sitting at the back of the room. Or they can be blind. So how do you teach students with blindness? You're not a special education teacher. You're a regular teacher. How do you deal with this kind of things? Hard of hearing. Sometimes I have this kind of disability myself. I've heard something else when the speaker or the teacher has said another thing. So sometimes I tend to be distracted, so I can't hear what it is that's being said. Maybe deaf. So for deaf, if they can read, it's better. But what if they are also experiencing other kinds of disability? Cognitive, like they have learning disability, whether it's, for instance, autism or something else. Speech impediment, or they're unable to speak, like they're mute. Mobility, so meaning to say if they can't, for example, uh, move on their own because of some physical disability, maybe polio or yes, arthritis, quadriplegia, or spinal cord injury. Or it can be about on the mind, like are they are bipolar, they're experiencing anxiety, they have OCD, they are depressed. So how do we deal with all these kind of um, uh, needs? So it happens to all of us, and one of the reasons is because it has traditionally been difficult to find and use the tools necessary to reach all our students, which is true. This is no longer the case with Microsoft Learning Tools and other accessibility programs integrated right into Windows 10 and Office 365. So visible and invisible needs span our classroom and schools. Thank God for Microsoft for that. There are chronic disabilities and requirements for people who are needing support only for a short time, but we are responsible to meet every learner where they are at, right? So yes, sometimes their disabilities can be unseen. So if, for instance, they will say, "Oh, teacher, I have a disability," and then you can see it. They're not blind, and they can talk. They're not deaf. Maybe it's something on the mind. So it's called unseen disabilities. So yes, this is statistics is kind of still current. Okay, it's way back 2019. So it's 2021, 2 years ago. So over 70% of our classrooms have students with additional learning needs, whether we like it or not. And we have over 50% students who are English language learners. So for English teachers, this is kind of uh, actually this number is in the Philippines. This number is kind of low. Well, most students here are English language learners, not only 50%, if you get my point. So because English is the second language here, so it's not only over 50%, it's probably 90 or 80% for that matter. So with Microsoft Learning Tools, we now have the ability to meet many of those needs without drawing attention to them or making students feel singled out. Because whether we like it or not, when students are asking, or one of the factors why students don't ask questions or they don't like bother approaching teachers is they feel that they will be on the spot, or they will draw attention to themselves that they are special. And in the case in this case, it's a bad kind of special which they don't want. Okay, So as much as possible, as a teacher, we should be very sensitive uh, of these students' needs because this can also cause permanent and damaging effect in their lifelong learning. Because once students are like discriminated, they don't want to continue learning anymore. Okay, so this is U.S. Statistics. So Blackboard study reveals low accessibility across higher level education content. So 77.9 of images don't have alternative descriptions. Have you ever encountered this kind of like images wherein you can or you can barely see anything and there's no like audio accompaniment? Have you ever experienced that? I did. And I don't understand anything that I'm looking. So the very first thing you can do for students is to ensure that we create accessible content. So I'll be showing you how to do that later, okay? So in a 5-year study of over 21 million pieces of content, Blackboard found that the content we offer students is rarely made accessible. I'm also guilty of this as a teacher or an English teacher myself. Sometimes I don't check if the content that I'm posting online or on my online classrooms is accessible to everybody because not everyone can like have fast internet access. So if I posted a video, they can't watch it, or if I posted just a photo, they can't see it because they're on free Facebook data. So that's one of the one reason why they can't. Well, physically they don't have any disability, but when it comes to technical accessibility, yes, they are in need of many things. Anyway, let's proceed. So yes, we have accessibility checker across Office products now. So if you go open any of your Office products, whether it's Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, you can go to accessibility checker and you can click on that button in the review, okay? And then you can see whether you have issues when it comes to accessibility. They will really check. So we can do our part from the beginning by using the excellent accessibility checker. So as I have mentioned, it's found in the review ribbon. So accessibility checker looks for common issues in documents that make them less accessible, particularly for those using screen readers and others with visual impairments. So for example, it looks for nested tables, so color contrast issues, headings for spacing, alternative text for images, shapes, smart art, etc. So all it takes is looking at things to move. So through the accessibility checker, uh, the software will check in itself how, how you can improve your output, whether it's PowerPoint presentation or a document or a PDF for that matter. Okay, so they have this great tool right now. Okay, all right. So we have here a quotation by Marcel Proust. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So for many students with additional learning needs, just like what mentioned earlier, feeling left out or frustrated at not being able to show their abilities is an overarching experience in school. So by leveraging these tools, students are set free to store and demonstrate their skills and abilities. So let's journey through some of the tools and opportunities we have for seeing and meeting students where they're at and giving them confidence and support to go on new wings. Are you ready? Okay. So let's begin. Accessing content and giving feedback. So as we look through new eyes at our classrooms, we have some incredible tools to offer our students. You can share this to your students once we are back this coming September, if you're in the Philippines, or uh, September 13, if I'm not mistaken, or September 1st for other parts of the world. So these accessibility tools empower students to process content and construct knowledge. They also empower us as teachers to deliver timely, specific feedback. So that's what matters most. Giving feedback immediately is actually a necessary tool for teaching and learning to happen, to effectively happen, if I may add. So first, we have the following tools. So first is Immersive Reader. Second is OneNote. Third is Editor and Researcher, whether you're using Word or OneNote. So who among you here are familiar with these three things that I have mentioned? Kindly comment which one you are familiar with so I can go back to you later. Okay? So mostly, I am very much familiar with OneNote since I have been using this in my online classrooms, even though I'm still in Mongolia. Okay, so my students can attest to that. It's difficult at first because students are not really familiar with OneNote, even though it's an office tool that exists way back 2000, whatever. Okay, so I was shocked when I first introduced this because they don't know it. I was like, hello, what have you been learning in your IT classes? No offense to IT teachers, but I was shocked because these are middle schoolers or grade 7, grade 10, grade 11, and they don't know OneNote. I mean, come on. I've been using OneNote since 2010. So it's been a decade that I've been using this. Immersive Reader, I've seen this, but I'm not a fan of this because the audio is irritating for my ear. Okay, so personally, it's irritating for my ear, but now I think you can choose between the lady voice or the guy voice. It's up to you, which is your preference. The editor and researcher, I've also encountered this mostly in Word. On OneNote, I have yet to find it. Okay, let's begin. So first, okay. So sometimes a student needs more time with a text to achieve comprehension. So sometimes additional tools might be useful to them as well. So Immersive Reader offers tools designed specifically to support students with dyslexia, color blindness, dysgraphia, and several other needs. So if you're looking at your screen right now, okay, so you can see here on the right side, you can resize the text, okay? So you can also increase spacing. So when you increase spacing, you will see which words are which letters are together and which words are not. What else? Themes, you can use the best color that you prefer. For me right now, I prefer dark mode on everything, whether it's website, app, or even my phone. Even on my laptop, I'm using dark mode. Why? Because my eyes are light sensitive, so I need the contrast kind of thing to be able for me to watch or uh, see my gadgets for a long period of time. Otherwise, uh, you'll probably notice that I'll be crying, not because I'm depressed, but because uh, the white screen is hurtful to my eyes. That's how painful it is. Okay. So learning tools offers text spacing, as I've mentioned, color contrast, read aloud. So if you, for instance, have difficulty in seeing, even though you have moved the text size to its maximum limit, and you still can see it, you can access read aloud, syllabic division, okay, parts of speech highlighting, and a new picture dictionary. So for instance, you don't know what the word means, yes, there is a new picture dictionary that will help you okay, understand what that word is. Isn't that great? Okay, what else? So for instance, this is an example of syllabic separation. So will, Liam, so that's two syllables. Shake, spear, that's another two syllables. So this is also helpful for those beginner reader, or if, for instance, uh, you are trying to study syllabication or elementary teachers teaching reader or basic reading to their students. You can also use this so that students or learners will be more guided. I'm using syllabic separation for in teaching reading to my son, and it's really great. Okay, it's helpful in correctly pronouncing the words and also for pausing. Okay, like they can practice which is the correct pause on a particular sentence or word. But basically, it's used to just recognize whether the word has one syllable, two syllables, three syllables, and so on. Okay. Parts of speech highlighting. So you can see here, once you click on nouns, the nouns will turn purple. So that means all the purple words are nouns. Okay. Then if you click on verbs, all the words that turned red are all. Isn't that great? So you need to say this will also help you understand like how the sentences are written if you're having lessons with grammar. So which one are nouns, which one are verbs, which one are adjectives. Okay. I wish I have this when I was younger or when I was in elementary. Okay. So another is line focus. So when you are reading in the primary or in the elementary, the tendency is students are reading with their fingers, and it's actually helpful for them to focus on which part they are in now. So, and you can also do that on your screen. That's why it's called line focus. Okay. So you also have picture dictionary. So if you highlight the word music, as you can see, there's a picture of the music sheets there. Okay, isn't that great? So students will better understand what it is that they are reading. Okay. Next is journal response feedback. So this is for um, OneNote. So when we think about supporting students in class, it's not just about their own work, but how we respond to it in a timely and a specific way. Giving strong feedback is essential to the learning process. With Office 365 and Windows 10 Ink capabilities, feedback becomes easier to deliver directly to students and in real time. I actually enjoy using OneNote, especially when I'm giving comments because you can even put stickers. Grade 7 or 7th graders love the sticker comments or feedback. They're actually asking me, teacher, where can I find it? I keep on telling you have to explore OneNote so for you to be able to find out where it is. Okay. So to continue, okay. So you can also write directly on the screen as you are looking here. This looks great. Ernie, you pulled out the sensory, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Yes, in OneNote you can do that. Okay, so you can directly write using, if you have a writing pad, you can write on your writing pad and it will be posted on the OneNote like this as a picture, of course. Okay, and then you can send it to the students and he or she will read that comment like in real time if the student is online, of course. If not, in probably in a later time when he or she is available. That's how, that's the beauty of OneNote. You can share it uh, and then have collaboration online in real time or at a later time. Also, students often need additional information or writing support when they're working, and we can always be there for them or direct them to valuable resources. So Researcher offers a digital guide to worthy sources right from within their workspace. No need to open separate web browsers and search engines. So for instance here, you can just highlight the word William Shakespeare, Twelfth Night, and then click on researcher and it will give you the background of who William Shakespeare is and what is Twelfth Night, as you can see here on the screen. It can also provide other information like is it a current play? Is it playing right now on theaters? In US, maybe it is. In the Philippines, I don't know. Okay. Is there a new movie or is there a new movie that's gonna be showing at a later date? Perhaps it will also shown on here on the researcher. Okay. Next, all right. Text suggestions is another new feature that makes the writing process easier and less frustrating. Oh my goodness. When it comes to writing, all students hated this part. I know because I've been a writing teacher since 2007. And yes, writing is really frustrating for them. Even for me, sometimes I got mental blocked for some reason. So when turned on, text suggestion, when it's turned on, you will receive predictive text options while typing across Office products, whether it's online and desktop apps. So students and teachers can use this tool to alleviate frustrations with frequently misspelled words or with words that they struggle to spell. We've all had that students who sit paralyzed by the fear and frustration of spelling mistakes, or students who are very very frustrated when like all of their outputs have red marks or corrections. But I have students who love receiving corrections. If you don't put any corrections, they will give back the output like, teacher, is, did you check it? Have you already checked it? Have you recorded it? Oh, it's case to case basis, okay? So with text suggestions, students are empowered in their writing process by reducing the emotional overhead of finding the right words. Sometimes we struggle. What's these words? Uh, what's the spelling of these words? Sometimes students and teachers can experience those kinds of things, mostly for students. So to turn on text suggestions, go to your computer settings and click on the devices section. There, you'll find the feature toggles to turn on and off the different aspects of the tool. Let's try it out. So for instance, if it's a word, okay, so you go to your computer device, go to typing. If you're using Windows 10, go to devices. So you can see the Bluetooth and other devices, uh, printers and scanners, find typing. And once you see that, show text suggestions as I type. Make sure you turn it on. Also at the bottom, multilingual text prediction, you also turn it on. So once you open a Microsoft Word, just like this one, once you type PRO or pro, it will give suggestions like are you thinking the word probably, promote, problem, so on and so forth. So it will give suggestions. What is it that you're trying to write? And whatever it is that you preferred, just click on it and it will be there on your screen. Press it. Okay. Instantly. Life is getting easier. With Editor in Word, robust writing support is available with the touch of a button, taking students much further than traditional spelling and grammar checks. This tool was built with specific research into dyslexia in mind, but will be useful to all students and can greatly decrease student frustration at not being able to show what they know due to barriers in basic writing skills. So it goes so much further than the little red squiggle we've all come to know. So when we're looking at editor pane, so see here, so sometimes we don't like our output like full of errors. So of course we want to be able to edit it. So here in editor pane, it will systematically check all issues found in the document and it will give you richer context to aid suggestions and comprehension. So first, you click on the editor, spelling, and then synonyms, read aloud and spell out, and then detailed explanations on how to fix these errors. Okay. Word Online also offers the breadth of support of learning tools, so students no longer have to rely solely on their desktop versions of the Office utilities. They can use the full learning tools spectrum right within their browser in Word Online. So this is the beauty of Microsoft 365. So if you're using this tool, I think it's for free educator for educators or for education. So that means for school. So if you are also using your personal account, I think it's also for free. Okay. But if you're going to access all the tools, you have to subscribe. That means you have to pay for some dollars. Okay. So with Word Online, it's actually easier because all you have to do is an internet connection, and whether you're using phone or laptop, you can access documents, PowerPoints, Excel, uh, Publisher, and so on and so forth online. You don't need to download or install anything. Okay. So these learning tools are available across many of the Microsoft tools and across platforms. So students have options to use the additional support across this whole range of Microsoft tools with more coming soon. So read aloud and word or line highlighting, you can use it on the following uh, Microsoft tools, whether it's OneNote online or desktop, OneNote app or OneNote iPad, OneNote Mac, whether it's Word Online, Desktop, Word Mac, Word iPad, Outlook Web, Outlook Desktop, Office Lens iOS, and Edge browser. So dictation, you can use it to most OneNote and Word and Outlook. For dictation, it's only available for PowerPoint desktop, not online. So for picture dictionary, it's only available for OneNote, Word, Online, and Outlook Web. For parts of speech, mostly OneNote and Word, and then Edge browser. Same with line focus, mostly OneNote and Word Online only, and Outlook Web. But for the others, the read aloud and word or line highlighting, as well as space and font text, font size, you can uh, have it or you can access it on almost all the Microsoft tools on any platform. Are you familiar with Henry David Thoreau? I like this guy. Okay. So according to him, the life which men praise and regard as successful is but one kind. Okay, so we can get attached to one particular way of engaging content, but more and more we are seeing that there is not just one right way to learn and one right way to show successful knowledge construction. I also believe that. So especially with the pandemic ongoing right now, teachers are having uh, difficulty, especially those who are not techie, in finding ways on how to make content more accessible or more accessible to students and their learners, but especially for young learners. I find it really difficult to I myself find it really very difficult to find content that is suitable for kids without them spending more time on screen, because screen time is not really good, believe me. So how do you define success in your classroom? What kind of activities and supports do you use for students who struggle with attention? We have this kind of students most of the time. Teacher, I want to answer. Teacher, I know the answer. Teacher, I already know that. Teacher, I don't know that. Teacher, how do I know that? So there's one little trick I want to show you. If you're using Microsoft Edge browser, that can make all the difference for students who need a little extra help with engagement. Okay. So if you open your Microsoft Edge browser, so this is one example of a page. So looking at this, yes, and I feel a little overwhelmed. Okay. How are you feeling about this page? So honestly, Edge browser has a reading view feature that reduces on-page distractions and brings attention to the text and pictures that are relevant for the learner. So let's try that. Oh, pretty amazing, isn't it? So distractions are reduced tremendously. And if you want to make notes, all you have to do is use the web note tools. Students also have the ability to take and save notes within their online research, reducing time spent multitasking across apps. Okay, so compared to the previous website and this one, this is better. Why? Well, for other learners, they may think this is boring, but it's actually uh, focused. You can use here the line focus thing, and you can highlight words. Okay, you can also point out which words you are in right now by highlighting the words as you read them. Okay, without all those popping ads, whatever that will lead you to some other websites. Sometimes it's not a good website. Okay. So here in OneNote, you can, yes, as I have mentioned, you can highlight some words and then write on the margins and circle, underline, and so on and so forth. You can do anything. You can copy paste, send it to in OneNote. You can copy paste some parts of your lecture and then attach it to the homework section the uh, of the OneNote, and then you can share it to students, and that's it. Less task for teachers. Try it. Dictate also allows for composition without translation, and yes, it even translates. So if, for instance, students are really having difficult time in learning the language, you can tell them to use translate. So far, we've looked at traditional ways of interacting with content in the classroom. But the fact is, students don't only need to have new ways to process text. So full accessibility means they also need to have alternative options for composing it. So here, the newest updates in Office 365 includes dictation in Word, Outlook, and PowerPoint. Windows Machine Learning offers several ways to interact with your device by speech. You can actually control your whole experience using speech commands. One of the most useful of these applications is using the speech recognition AI right within these Office prompts. Like learning tools, this feature was first envisioned by developers and designers working together to craft the most useful, future-looking tools that Microsoft then integrated into their products. So I actually admire Dictate because if, for instance, you are driving, you can just click Dictate and whatever you're saying, it will type. Of course, there are some errors because we are not native speakers of English. So errors will tend to happen, but you can go back anytime and then edit what it is that is wrong. Sometimes the app will misheard you, so you have to edit that too. So for instance, volcano. So that's volcano, right? So when you dictate, especially if you are going to have spellings, it's actually easy for students to see how the letters are forming on their screen if they are using dictate apps. So can you imagine the joy of students who struggle so hard putting pencil to paper or hand to keyboard? I know there are so many students who simply seize up when asked to write something. But when you ask them to tell you their ideas, they have no problem. From dictate on the home ribbon in Word to using Windows speech recognition across your whole device, you now have an integrated free system that supports learning and is built on the same AI voice recognition that I'm going to show you next in Microsoft Translator. So, right. All of us can agree right now that our experiences are increasingly global. Okay? So we have the ability to connect beyond the walls of our classrooms like never before, and the tools to take advantage of those connections. Mostly in the Philippines, we have more than how many students? 65. Shocking, isn't it? More than 65 students. I have experience in the division of Rizal, 89 to 98 students. Astounding, isn't it? Well, in Mongolia, I've only experienced 20 to 25 students. Ah, those are heavenly years. Okay. So if you think that speakers of other languages have something important to add to our learning, thumbs up. Yes, of course they are. So that's why we're using translator. You can use translator. So for example, you are learning English, you can use Filipino. So English will be translated to Filipino, or Filipino to English if you prefer that. Or if you're a speaker of other languages, so you can say English to Chinese or English to French or Filipino to German, whatever it is that you want to translate to. So I'm going to share a video. Let me show you that. Okay. Wait for a while. There. All right. Okay. So are you ready? Let's watch this.
There is a language barrier inside the walls of our schools, and it's not going away. In fact, the volume of students who are native language in their toolkit is steadily increasing. In the United States, the number of English language learners in the nation's K-12 student population has more than doubled since 1990. When students aren't able to comprehend a new language, it can be difficult to socialize with peers or understand new concepts. Often, these students feel disconnected from their school community. Sometimes, despite a teacher's best efforts to explain something, students with a language barrier still feel lost. With Microsoft Translator, teachers can easily engage students regardless of their language abilities. Teachers simply tap to start a conversation and share the code with their students. Students join the conversation by entering the code into any device with web capability. Then they choose which language they would like to hear or see. As the teacher speaks, Translator provides real-time audio in the chosen language for each student. It also provides a live, real-time transcript of the conversation. Students can hear and read the conversation as it is happening in class. The transcript appears on a student's device in the language of their choice. In fact, Microsoft Translator can translate into multiple languages simultaneously. This live translation allows students to be fully engaged in the topics and social dynamics of the classroom. Translation can be tricky with unique names or subject-specific vocabulary. But with the PowerPoint add-in, Translator reads everything in a teacher's slide deck and slide notes so it can create a more accurate translation.
Translator gives me the opportunity to reach my students in a way I never could before. I love seeing their faces light up when they realize they actually understand the message I'm trying to get across. They can participate in class discussions like never before.
Translation doesn't only accommodate the learning of non-native speakers, it helps other students too. Taking notes in class can be a challenge, but the transcripts provided by Microsoft Translator allow all students to access the conversation after the fact. Microsoft Translator allows students to move from feeling confused to feeling connected with peers and engaged in learning. Translator saves time, provides real-time translation, and keep students captivated with classroom conversations. Just visit aka.ms/translator.edu.
All right. So I think you're able to watch that video about Microsoft Translator. So these teachers are using the Translator app and the PowerPoint add-in for the benefit of their students. Translator also supports parent-teacher conferences, student-teacher conferences, and school community meetings. So up to 100 people can join the conversation at a time, and they can all select their chosen language. That's amazing, isn't it? So multiple people with different languages can all access to one kind of presentation because of Translator app. Wow, that's amazing. Think of the difference this can make to community sessions where multiple languages are spoken in the room. Maybe this is what they're using in United Nations. Some schools have had difficulty meeting the interpretation needs of their communities at events like this. But now there is a tool that enables more meaningful access for families whose primary language is not English. Using the Translator Live app and as a PowerPoint add-in aren't the only ways to use Translator for a school community. We can also use Translator to connect with other students, teachers, and professionals around the world. That's amazing. Also, Skype Translator works in over 50 languages, so you can have live interactions with people around the world and communicate easily. There are classroom teachers and scientists, lecturers, museums, and many other options for connecting. Just check out Skype in the Classroom on the Microsoft Educator community to get inspired and started with your own global outreach. Not only it is easier to communicate with people further away these days, there's one more tool I want to show you that can make collaboration and communication right on your school more doable. So let's do this. Familiar? So welcome to Office Lens. Okay. So here you can make your OneNote, Word, and PowerPoint easy to export from one app to another software. Also, document image capture and digitization. Also, there's Immersive Reader for iOS with read aloud, text spacing, and text size options. So Office Lens can turn whiteboard notes into PowerPoint slides. Nice. And hard copy handouts into digital, editable documents. Teachers use Office Lens to digitize handouts that they then place in OneNote for student access. Or if you have that one old handout that you don't have on the computer, this is a great tool to make it editable again. So for students, Immersive Reader is available on Office Lens as well. So they can have documents to read aloud and adjust the text for their needs right on mobile devices. Great. So Jeff Petty, the lead accessibility engineer at Microsoft, shows us how it's done here. Let me show you this video. Wait for a while. Let me show you.
Coming up, I'm going to show you how Microsoft's learning tools are being included in Office Lens. The feature includes new spelling and grammar checks to help improve your writing. For example, when you right-click on a misspelled word, you get synonyms for each suggestion. Coming up, I'm going to show you how Microsoft's learning tools are being included in Office Lens, Word Desktop, and Word Online. Learning tools help you make printed text easier to read and share, write and review documents, and be more productive on any device. I've downloaded Office Lens from the App Store and set it up on my iPhone. Let's start by doing some research. If you have a learning difference like dyslexia, reading from printed documents with small, crowded text can slow you down and make it hard to understand the content. Office Lens is a free app that converts images into text that's easy to read and share. Let me show you. I'm going to scan a document by taking a picture of it with Office Lens. Next, I'm going to view the content of the document with the Immersive Reader. It's built right in. We've added the ability to increase font size and add spacing so it's easy to read the text. We've also added a read aloud feature so you can have the text read to you.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived.
Office Lens makes it easy to export the image and text to OneNote, Word, and other apps too. Let me
All right. So let me go back to our presentation. All right. So I hope you were able to see how Jeff managed with the Office Lens. Okay. So now, do we have questions? I'm opening the floor now for questions or inquiries on how to make your classroom inclusive. So you've seen some of the ways Microsoft Learning tools are being used in the classroom to support the beauty of broad abilities and needs of our students. So it's important to remember that students shouldn't have to ask every time they need an accommodation. So think of the person in the wheelchair. Universal design and laws like the ADA are designed so that we always accommodate people's needs. In the classroom, the tools and tips I've shown you will help ensure that we are meeting the needs of our students right from the beginning. So post in the comment section and share one way you want to take these tools back to your school and implement them. Are you ready to learn more? Just check out these courses on Microsoft Educator Community. So you can click on Introduction to Microsoft Teams, Accessibility Tools, Meeting Needs of diverse learners, Creating Digitally Inclusive Learning Community, and so on and so forth. Okay. So what's your greatest takeaway from this session right now? Don't forget to comment. And also, take a minute to comment your takeaway or whatever learning you have gotten from today's session. Make sure you use MSFE enable and hashtag Microsoft EDU. You might just change someone's classroom. You never know. So if you're interested in learning more, head back over to Microsoft Educator Community at aka.ms/educator community. So the online professional development has so many learning pathways to support teaching and learning and empower every student to become more. So while you're on the MEC, don't forget to redeem this code for participating in today's session, T-JTB8DFA21. So this is the code that you're going to need to redeem that certificate. It's a digital certificate that you can use for your school requirements, maybe CPD units. Yes, you may. Lastly, we also want you to know we're here for you. I can't tell you how much support I've received from the Edu team at Microsoft, okay? So these engineers and support personnel are truly eager to help teachers solve any problems they encounter. And because they are always listening, they are also able to take our perspectives straight to the next iteration of the product. It changes because we make it change. Visit support.office.com/education for help and tutorials. So again, see you when I see you. Don't forget to redeem your code here at P-JTB8DFA21. See you guys, and thank you for joining us today.